Does your front rack position look like this, with your elbows pointed to the floor, your upper back hunched over, and you're missing more lifts as you drop the bar to the front than standing up with them? Well, this is how your front rack position should look, with your elbows up, your back straight, and without stress on your wrists, elbows, or shoulders. Follow our 4-part series using the Sidekick tool to improve your front rack position. Okay, so breaking down the movement of the shoulders to come up through the clean into that front rack position is really crucial. If we lack adequate internal rotation, where your arm is dropping down like this, what's going to happen is that bar gets out away from you, we start having a lot more stress through the shoulder, through the elbow, and this is what leads to a lot of problems really throughout that upper extremity, through the shoulder, elbow, and wrist. So we're going to focus on working through a lot of the rotator cuff of the shoulder, going down into the lats, and how that affects that rotation and that mobility of the shoulder. We're going to be using the muscle warming balm really to lubricate the skin so it isn't abrasive using the tool. Using the balm, we're just going to apply it to the skin, just in the areas that we're going to be working. So using our Echo, our Sidekick tool, we're using that broad part of the blade again, so we can already see some ecchymosis, so some petechia. There's just kind of that redness and those little red dots that form when there's a problem area. We want to work through that tissue so we start to see that. We really don't want to go too deep into it though. Big thing with a Sidekick is that kind of persistence pays off over time. Using this tool every few days to really work through the muscle, the fascia, just to increase this slowly over time. So we're following this down into the triceps. We're not getting a lot of response here, so it just gives us an indicator that there's less problem area here. Where we see a lot is through the back of this rotator cuff, and even as we come down into this lat. Again, arm position can vary, it just depends. Having Dallas' arm over her head like this just opens up those structures. You can work through them in a shortened position. You can drop this elbow down so it's actually in more of a front rack position, and follow that through with working through those tissues as well. Alright, so just like we did with our thoracic spine videos, we're going to give you a couple exercises to really improve that shoulder range of motion and mobility, get into that front rack position. We're going to be focusing first back of the shoulder through the external rotators of that rotator cuff. We're going to be using the peanut again. You can just use a single tennis ball, lacrosse ball. We're going to put this right kind of in the base of that shoulder, right where that muscle and that tendon really join. And so we want this elbow, this shoulder to be 90 degrees straight out in front of the body. And what that does, it really locks in the shoulder blade so we can focus on the rotator cuff. And then Dallas is just going to be slowly, internally, and externally roll that arm back. And just like that, a slow controlled pace. If it doesn't hurt, it's on the right spot. So you're going to feel a little bit of discomfort with this. So we're just going to go over a few common mistakes that people make with this exercise. A big thing is really making sure this elbow or the shoulder is really straight out in front of the body. So if you're to look at where your body's laying, it should be 90 degrees, straight out in front. What happens if this arm comes too low is that the shoulder blade's allowed to move in the back, and we really don't feel that focusing on the muscles that we want to. Same thing if it gets up too high. The other component that people often do is they want to try to cheat that internal rotation by extending their elbow. They kind of straighten their arm as they go down. It makes it look like they've got good internal rotation, but really it's not at what they think. So we want to keep this elbow perfect at that 90-degree angle. So the other exercise that we're going to include for improving that shoulder range of motion really ties in upper back and shoulder. So it's going to be focused on both external rotators, the lats, and even some of that thoracic spine mobility. So we're just going to go into a really basic child's pose, and then what we're going to do is just bring both hands back just at the base of your neck. And so Dallas's elbows stay on the floor, try to bring your hands together here, and then again pressing down. And you're going to feel this through that lat, through the back of the shoulder, and even through the triceps. And this is where it really comes into play with the triceps, kind of limiting some of that front rack position as well. So this is a great exercise to just sit there. You can hold this for 1 to 3 minutes, something like that. More of a passive stretch to just holding it where it's comfortable, trying to breathe into it and feel that range of motion improve. So for both these exercises, this is something you can be doing every day. Again, short duration, you're not spending half your day doing this, but persistence, doing this on a regular basis is really going to help that front rack position improve. So that concludes our shoulder segment of cleaning up your front rack position using the Sidekick tool. Follow up with us for our next videos as we follow that down into the elbow and the wrist. These are a couple areas that people have a lot of pain, both in that front rack position, but just with their Olympic lifting in general.